Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia and Singapore rushed to offer aid and comfort to flood survivors in eastern Malaysia. We see how Tzu Chi and recycling helped change the life of Huang Jinhu of Taichung, Taiwan. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. Experiencing the worst flooding in 30 years, residents in Malaysia's east coast are still inundated with continuous rain, and many remain at shelters while waiting for the water to recede. Next, we take a look at the various distributions volunteers held to make sure disaster survivors felt well taken care of.
The highway is flooded and blocked. The military is not letting anyone through.
Against all odds, Tzu Chi volunteers arrive at Pahang's Terminal Low to conduct their latest disaster assessment. There, they see that buildings and even electricity poles are submerged underwater.
Right now, we need supplies including towels, feminine products, baby diapers, baby formula, blankets, and mosquito nets.
Meanwhile, earlier that morning, a group of Tzu Chi volunteers set off from the Kuala Lumpur Jingsi Hall for Kelatang's Gua Musang New Village to hold an aid distribution for flood survivors. As the supplies truck arrives, volunteers break into groups, with some readying the supplies into packs, while others check the recipient's identity against the name list. Among the volunteers helping out are also several of the disaster victims themselves.
Although my house isn't quite clean yet, I brought my entire family to help because it feels good to help one another in this difficult time. I'm very happy I can be of service.
Over 2,000 residents have crammed into the school serving as the temporary shelter. However, with no electricity and running water, many people have not had a shower in 4 days.
Food, household items, and all my money was lost in the flood. We're staying at the school temporarily. I can't find a stable job, much less provide for my family. Thankfully, Tzu Chi volunteers are here to help with this subsidy, which we can now use to buy things to get our lives back.
As it starts raining once again during the distribution, volunteers step up to shield residents with umbrellas. Next, volunteers arrive at the faraway Pulai village, which is known locally as the Chinese Hakka village. The overflow from the nearby river damaged the local water and electricity supply as well.
Residents here farm for a living, and basically all our crops have been destroyed. We don't know how to continue on.
Giving much-needed supplies to residents from over 600 flooded households. In this problematic time, the volunteers' love and care is reaching those who need it most. On foot, Tzu Chi volunteers around the Moran area are bringing relief supplies, as well as blessings from Master Zhenyan to residents at home.
I hope everyone can take care of each other. Master Zhenyan and the Tzu Chi volunteers will be here to lend you our support.
The letter from Master Zhenyan and Tzu Chi's relief supplies have touched the hearts of many affected.
I don't know how to express how I feel. This is the first time I have experienced flooding, and you are here at my house giving me relief items. If this was from the government, I would have to apply for it first, but you came to my house to bring it to me without me asking. It's really unbelievable.
Over 220,000 residents from the Malaysia's east coast have been affected by this historic flooding. The hard-hit areas are in the state of Pahang, with volunteers from Johor Bahru and Batu Pahat offering their assistance to victims in the Moran district. Earlier in Temerloh, led by director of the Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter, Jian Lu, volunteers ready daily necessities, dry goods, and instant noodles for distribution. Overcoming During rain-slicked roads, 43 Tzu Chi volunteers from Singapore reached Kuantan, Malaysia, to lend a helping hand. With so many Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help, the survivors of the flooding in eastern Malaysia are sure to feel well supported in these dark times. Also doing their part to help those affected from the flood in Malaysia have been volunteers and the Jingsobo Dharma Masters in Taiwan, who have stepped up their production of Tzu Chi's instant rice. On December 30th, about 10,000 kilos of the instant rice, along with 5,100 bowls and 5,000 aid packages, were sent by air to Malaysia, where they will go a long way in helping residents deal with the tragedy that has befallen them.
Box after box is unloaded from the truck before being marked as air freight. The volunteers work fast as they know that there are many in Malaysia that desperately need these supplies.
At 10 in the morning, we got a call from our team leader. We took this opportunity to create a good karmic relationship with others. This is in line with what the Master herself said, interdependence of origination, to bring aid and lessen suffering. This is what Bodhisattvas do. This year, my mom is 103 years old, so every weekend I will go visit her. This morning, I was visiting her when I got the call from the brothers.
Also giving without a second thought was the driver who drove the supplies from Hualien to Taoyuan, a 5-hour trip.
Regarding the cost of transport, we could have offered an even bigger discount, but the Master said it was enough, as after all, we have families to raise.
Wrapped up tight, the supplies are now on their way to Malaysia, where they are sure to help thousands get through the disaster with warm bellies and hearts.
As the flooding in Malaysia's Kelantan has worsened over the past few days, many hospitals in the state have been stuck for days without adequate medical supplies. To help, Tzu Chi volunteers and team of doctors from Penang arrived at an evacuation center to distribute aid and set up a medical station to tend to the flood victims.
As soon as they step off the plane, Tzu Chi volunteers from Penang immediately set out for the evacuation center in flood-ravaged Kelantan. The senior, who is diabetic, injured his foot but was unwilling to go to a hospital for treatment. Team of doctors disinfected his wound while gently persuading him to seek further treatment.
We'll stitch you up and give you antibiotics because you already have an infection in your foot. This will help it heal more quickly.
The worsening flood situation has left many hospitals and clinics without adequate medical supplies. Hence, establishing temporary medical stations was a matter of some urgency.
One of the patients told us that he took his child to get stitches, but waited for 10 hours.
A team of 9 Team of volunteers from Penang served 163 patients over 2 days.
Many children are suffering from fever, while some adults have strained the muscles in their backs and are also running a fever from wading through the floodwaters.
Apart from the free clinic, volunteers also carried out a relief distribution. Large quantities of supplies were transported to the evacuation center that same morning. However, the first distribution was a test of the volunteers' resilience.
We don't speak the same language, so I just gave them a big, warm smile.
I don't speak Malay, so I tried to memorize some words by heart so I can communicate.
Tzu Chi's love is the best medicine for these flood victims.
We don't show our pain because we are still very optimistic. We have food to eat, a place to bath, and a place to sleep, so we are really grateful.
As it starts to pour, Zain immediately rushes over to help the volunteers.
I didn't cry when my home was completely washed away by the floods. I'm crying now because I'm deeply touched by all of Tzu Chi's help. Thank you, Tzu Chi.
The Tzu Chi song We Are One Family brings everyone's hearts closer together.
We understand what they are going through. These flood survivors can feel we treat them just like our own family. Next, we travel to Germany to meet volunteer Zhong Jialong. In October of 2014, Zhong joined Tzu Chi's relief efforts in Bosnia and was inspired by the Buddhist NGO's philosophy. Upon returning home, Zhong decided to give back to his community by organizing a banquet on behalf of needy families. But first, we go to Australia, where Tzu Chi volunteers organized an event in Wagga Wagga for those affected by the flood in 2012.
Singing the Tzu Chi song, The Spirit of Great Love, is the former mayor of Wagga Wagga, New South Wales.
You are very kind people and very kind to this community and the communities beyond that have had disasters. There's not too many groups around the place that come and do this so far away from their home base of Sydney.
Despite symbolisms far and wide, Tzu Ching's walk around the venue with sandwich boards.
Really know how to do that, you know? Yeah. You people really know how to do that. I wish the world was like that. I only wish the whole world was like that.
As the new year is just around the corner, volunteers at the Tzu Chi Australia chapter traveled to Wagga Wagga to visit residents who were hit by serious flooding in 2012. However, today many have transformed from a receiver to a giver.
Yeah, we found it very important. You guys looked after us when the floods were in our area, so we like to come back and repay our thanks every time you're in Wagga Wagga.
Your movies brought back memories, for some sad memories, but for most of us we're getting over it now and getting on with life. And it's through organisations like you people that allow these residents to get back to life the way it is.
Besides inspiring locals to help those in greater need, Tzu Chi volunteers also encourage children to give their parents a massage to express their love. In the years to come, the volunteers' bond with residents in Wagga Wagga will surely only grow stronger and stronger. Meanwhile, in Germany, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a banquet on behalf of low-income families. Inspired by the NGO's philosophy, the restaurant owner happily provides his restaurant as the venue.
Ein warmes Mittagessen und Kaffee, Kuchen.
I didn't contribute much. I just provided desserts and coffee for all the participants.
The person behind the success at the banquet is volunteer Zhong Jialong, who has been living in Zost for 8 years. After joining Tzu Chi's relief effort in Bosnia, Zhong was inspired to give back to his community. Upon learning of Zhong's plan, despite the long distance involved, Tzu Chi volunteers from Munich drove 800 kilometers to Zost to assist with the banquet.
Today's gathering was great, and I felt relaxed. I enjoyed the food provided by all of you.
Besides delicious food, the volunteers also share with participants Master Cheng Yin's words of wisdom. And thanks to the banquet, these low-income families are going home with full stomachs and hearts filled with Dharma joy.
Recently, Tzu Chi clubs from 10 different colleges in northern Taiwan organized year-end tea gatherings on behalf of club members. Meanwhile, we joined the Tzu Chi Jingsi Books and Cafe in Milpitas, California, as they hold a tea gathering to thank their guest speakers and participants for their support in 2014.
The Milpitas Square in Northern California is an outdoor shopping center and also the location of a Jingsi Books and Cafe. This year, the bookstore organized a total of 34 seminars on behalf of the community. Nurse Zhen Jingsu, a former seminar speaker, says she learned a lot through sharing her expertise at the Jingsi Books and Cafe.
Whenever I have to prepare for a presentation, I need to first prepare a PowerPoint. By doing presentations, I have learned to use PowerPoint software and have more quality time with my daughter. My daughter taught me how to use the software.
To help those suffering from depression, psychologist Li Wei-Chen shared with participants the best way to grow mentally and spiritually.
The best way for a person to grow is to help others. Whether it is coming here to give a speech or attending a seminar, the Jingsi Books and Cafe is a great place for individuals to grow.
Behind the success of these seminars are volunteers who have dedicated themselves selflessly over the year.
So many volunteers are old, yet they are still willing to volunteer their time and strength. I have attended many of the seminars, such as the one on Alzheimer's disease. The seminar taught us ways to prevent Alzheimer's.
Through the seminars, participants and guest speakers have not only formed good friendships, but also promised to work hand in hand to create a better community together.
My wish for the new year is to become a great nurse. I wish my family and friends peace and happiness in the upcoming year.
If you want your wish to come true, this person is the right one to look for. This is the scene at a tea gathering organized by the Tzu Chi Club of the Cardinal Tian Junior College of Healthcare and Management. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi clubs from 9 different colleges are holding a tea gathering at the Tzu Chi Guanzhou grounds. Besides meeting new friends, everyone reflects on their initial aspiration to join Tzu Chi.
I signed up to be a member of the Tzu Chi Club after I saw some information on one of the events. Since then, I have attended several Tzu Chi events.
Thanks to the gathering, club members not only have had the chance to think about the good memories they have created over the past year, but have also welcomed in the new year with new friends and a smile.
For many Tzu Chi recycling volunteers, sorting recyclables is more than simply contributing to the environment, but a way to cultivate and strengthen their spirits. 69-year-old recycling volunteer Huang Jinhu of Taichung, Taiwan, was formerly depressed and often succumbed to panic attacks. Thankfully, the words of a stranger pointed her in the right direction.
Early in the morning, Huang Jinhu arrives at Tzu Chi's Songzhu recycling station in Taichung and quickly begins to recycle after her prayers. The 69-year-old lost her husband to illness 18 years ago. Of her 5 children, one's business venture failed, one's legs were injured, and one got divorced. The woman later broke down due to the series of misfortunes she had to face.
She only started to improve after she began to recycle. Otherwise, she just couldn't do anything. She couldn't ride a motorcycle, nor cook in the kitchen.
Huang says it was during a ride in a taxi to the hospital that a driver encouraged her to step out of her shell.
He told me to come out. I said, where? He said, join Tzu Chi and help recycle.
As Huang separates recyclables from trash, it's as if she's also cleaning away the pain in her heart. Now she's free of her depression and has once again embraced life.
The Tzu Chi Club of New Taipei City's Tan Kang University has been raising environmental awareness on campus. Recently, students were invited to help sort recyclables at school. And after a night of cleaning, the participants all learned that recyclables must be cleaned before they are placed in bins.
These students of Tan Kang University in Danshui, New Taipei City have gathered not for an all-night karaoke, but for something more meaningful. Though there are recycle bins throughout the campus, many students still don't know how to discard the recyclables properly.
Now I know that I don't do enough. Though when I eat breakfast or other takeout, I do make sure the paper containers are recycled. I am not as thorough as what you have shown me tonight.
The school has just over 27,000 students, but they generated an average of 2.6 tons of garbage a month last year. After a night of cleaning, exchange student from Macau, Yang Haoqing, has gained a new perspective.
I think doing this every day is probably quite a bother. So when I have extra time, I will probably go help out the janitors with the work.
I hope this event helps inspire you not to do this kind of thing anymore. Not only is the odor unbearable, it's an extra burden on our janitors and environment.
Action speaks louder than words, and these young minds have decided to show their care by devoting their free time to something more meaningful.
Tzu Chi University in Hualien, Taiwan recently hosted the second annual I'm Super DJ contest. Contestants also included students from the high school division of the school. The goal is to cultivate quality DJs of tomorrow. At the Tzu Chi University in Hualien, Taiwan, contestants of I'm Super DJ contest do their best to showcase their voice to grab the judges' attention. Speaking articulately is one of the basic requirements of a radio host. All contestants are also tested on improvisation and have to report news or introduce new information.
This is a chance for you to see what you are capable of. Not only do you all have a wonderful voice, you must also learn to express the world you see through your voice.
There are both college and high school students participating in the contest, and the judges also generously share all they know.
I see that all of you came up on stage confidently with a smile. I think speaking with a smile helps convey your sincerity.
When you start to like yourself, only then will you be able to unleash your uniqueness and potential.
The contest is a learning experience for all challengers, and the winners will undergo further training to help them realize their dream. Tzu Chi volunteers in Pingtung have long worked on the behalf of the local prison population. Today, we follow them as they visit Pingtung's youth correctional facility, where volunteers have been using love and care to help lost youths to rediscover the correct path in life.
At the beginning of class, these students bow 90 degrees to their teacher, who is also a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Children can be taught. Our master said that there is no child that can't be taught. Only teachers that can't teach children.
All of these inmates are under 20 years old. Most come from broken homes and have never felt the warmth of parental attention. Volunteers are working to help these children come to terms with their family history and find gratitude in their hearts.
很棒哎，他真的骂得很好，来为他掌声一下。哎，很好很好。洗完之后有没有什么体会？
妈妈很辛苦。
你要时时刻刻去。
You need to always be grateful for your father or mother, even if they were not by your side. Use a heart of gratitude and every day pray for their well-being.
The volunteers hope their care will encourage these children not to give up on themselves and find the right path in life.
多上几堂课再走啊，但是不要再回来了哦。好。
Witnessing Tzu Chi's act of kindness on a trip to Iran earlier in 2014, American dentist David Dean then joined Tzu Chi last October. Vowing to put his expertise to good use, Dean recently organized a dental-free clinic in Las Vegas, Nevada at his own practice. We will leave you with these images at the end of the show, and from all of us here at DaAi TV, we wish you a new year full of happiness and blessings. Thank you for watching.